Hello there and welcome back to another art doll tutorial. Today we're going to be working on this little guy here and we're going to be giving him a bit more of a body. Well, her, I think this is actually a girl. We're going to say, yes, we're going to be giving her a little bit of a body. And we're going to be building up the body using quilt batting to make sure it's nice and soft and cuddly. So let's just start out. This is obviously what the dolls look like when they're when I first create them. Very, very spindly looking. not very much to look at. We have a wire armature here. This is aluminium wire. This particular wire is copper coated, but that doesn't particularly matter. That's just what happened to be in stock at the time. But yeah, it's fairly thick gauge aluminium wire. I love using this wire for armatures because it's quite soft and bendy. It's double twisted around there to give it a little more strength. Apart from the tail, which doesn't need to be particularly strong. But obviously with the legs and the back, the neck is going to be holding quite a lot of weight. We have the face here and the paws. And these are polymer clay. The particular clay I'm using here is Super Sculpey Living Doll, which I generally buy online. You can use any polymer clay you like. This is just my particular preference. And tying it all together, this is what holds the paws and the head onto the armature, and stabilises it around these spots here where it's twisted. This is Milliput, which is a 2-part epoxy putty. One of my favourite supplies ever. I absolutely love it. They're not giving me any money to say that, unfortunately. Nobody ever does, but I wish they did. But this is wonderful stuff. It's 2-part, mixed together, and it just squishes like clay, and you have it down there, and here it clings on. And that's another reason why it's a good idea that the armature is twisted around double like this. It gives it something to grip to, so it won't slide off or anything. So enough about that. We're going to actually build up the body on this. This is actually commissioned work, so I want to give a big thanks to the commissioner for giving me permission to use this in a tutorial. Thank you very much. You're awesome. I just hope this lives up to your expectations. So we're going to do some building up. Now, when I'm building up the body, I like to use quilt batting. So let's bring some on here. This is quilt batting. It's generally I've cut it into little strips here because this is how I work with it. But it's sold in sheets, rather like most of the fabrics. So you can just buy it by the metre on a roll. It's called quilt batting or wadding, depending on where you are. Either way it works. And it's just very, very soft. It's very much like polyester filling, but it's not a blob like polyester filling. It's kind of a coherent sheet, and as the name suggests, it's better used for quilting. As you can see, it's fairly layered, so what I like to do to begin with is to cut these long strips and wrap them around the body. And what I do is tear off a bit. As you can see, it's kind of like a leaf to it, a bit of a grain to it, and it's like peeling off part of that there. You can see it's kind of layered. This does come in various thicknesses. This is kind of like a relatively thick version. So, first of all, I'm going to wrap this around the body. I should probably mention, I don't think I actually mentioned what she is. She is a Sylveon. It's cushioned Sylveon, so I absolutely love the Eevees. I know everybody loves the Eevees, but I think they're popular for a reason. They're very, very cute, and they're definitely some of my favourite Pokemon, so I was really super happy to get this commission. So what I'm going to do is wrap this around the body. Wrap it nice and tight, and over the shoulders. We're just going to do the body for now. Leave the legs down, and again, nice and tight around the body. Keep going. I have to admit, I always feel a little bit self-conscious showing them off at this stage. I always kind of think to myself, it's so. What if somebody looks at this and thinks, oh, this looks terrible? But at the end of the day, you kind of have to get yourself out there, and I think I do want to share my knowledge of how I do this. I've just finished that wrap around there. I do want to share my knowledge, and this is the best way to do it. I think a lot of people have said that very often people don't share their techniques a lot. I'm just going to rip off a little bit more. People said that very often artists don't like to share their techniques. I do. I don't like the idea of like trade secrets or anything like that. I want to share how I do things with you, because that's important to me, and that's how you learn. And
I don't mind people knowing how I make things. I figure even if you know exactly how I make something, you follow it to the letter, what you make won't be what I make. It'll be something completely different, and that matters a lot to me. I think it's very, very important to share this sort of knowledge and say, this is how I do things. This is why I opened up a little... This is why I started doing videos on hexing pets, actually, which is the video I just did recently. Just because it was something that I thought, I can do this. I can share how I make things, and that's a very, very important thing for me. Making things, as you probably have guessed, it's not just the money. It's like this is what makes me happy. So let's do a nice big. Sorry about the little ramble there. I hope nobody minds. So there's a nice little wrap round there. And you see we've kind of got this sort of sausage shape around the body. Okay, now quilt batting. It sticks to itself quite nicely. It's got all these loose fibres, so it clings a lot. But I like to give the body a little bit of shape, and how I do that, I needle felt it. So here's a little block of foam, just regular upholstery foam, and my needle felting needle. Now, again, if you've never needle felted before, it's basically done with felt fibres instead of this, but it's the same principle. You have a felting needle like this, or several of them, and again, you probably can't see very easily on the video, but there are little barbs on this needle. So if I stab into there, first of all, it makes a very satisfying crunchy noise, which is very, 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 very relaxing somehow. And you'll notice that it also kind of sticks it, so it sticks it a little bit tighter. And I like to do is to sculpt the body, so just to kind of move on from that sausage shape and give a little bit more shape and form. So there's that. Like I said, just any loose. If the wrapping is particularly loose, it works very well. So that's how needle felting works. Quilt batting obviously is not the obvious choice for needle felting. If you're actually doing actual proper needle felting, use proper wool. Don't use quilt batting. Because quilt batting is a synthetic fibre, it doesn't cling quite as well as actual wool. But for what we're doing here, we don't need it to cling perfectly. We don't need perfection. We just want to get a nice shape down. So if I just kind of stab around the neck, that sounds horrible, but you know what I mean. Just going to go on that neck there. Just to make sure it's not too chunky. So you can kind of see how we're getting a bit more body shape there. Another thing which kind of helps is if you're making some sort of animal like this, have a picture on hand. I mean, I've got Bulbapedia open at the moment, looking at that, and just keeping an eye on the official artwork. Just so I've got the body shape right. So I'm just going to tear off a little bit more. You can see it's very, very loose. These little fibres love to cling to one another. Not as tight as actual wool would, because of it's synthetic fibre, which basically means that the fibres are a lot smoother than wool. But it does what we need it to do. As you can see it just likes to cling to itself already. Very fluffy. Okay, so onwards there. Like I said, I hope nobody minded a little ramble, but I think it's very important to share knowledge and share how you share making things. Making things is probably the number one important thing in my life, I would say. Anything really. I don't like to tie myself down to one particular thing or one particular art. I often kind of worry that life is too short to explore every single art form there is in the world, but I can do what I can. Yeah, I can. So make sure you wrap it nice and tight. The tighter the better. So I'm just going to do some little wraps around there. I don't normally get so rambly, but I suppose I've got to make doing some sort of weird EV mummification process look interesting somehow. Kind of is like wrapping up a mummy, isn't it? Except it's not. It's kind of the opposite, really, because we're not working with a corpse here. We're bringing something to life. Oh God, this is getting weirder, isn't it? Weirder and weirder. You know what? Oops. I do apologise. There's not very much space to move here, but So then we're just going to tighten that down. Nice sculpted body. This is why we have the foam block again. This is upholstery foam. You can buy it from just about any sort of large furniture supply type place. Should have it. Very useful stuff. I've actually built up bodies with this, doing some experiments. There's always more than one way to do something. That's something I always want to stress. Just because you see me do something in a particular way doesn't mean you have to. You might find something else works for you. You might find my way is terrible. And that's absolutely fine. What works for you is what's most important, and you should never do something just because I tell you to, basically. So yeah, go out and do needle felting with complete needle felting with quilt batting. Surprise me. see what you can make. Have fun. That's the most important thing. I mean, obviously this is a business for me. I do sell these books. Obviously, I mentioned this as a commission, but I would never do it if I didn't love it. Which is why I love sharing so much. But yeah. So that's another thing I kind of wanted to mention while I'm here and while I'm doing this is there anything else you'd like to see, really? Because suggestions I can always think to myself, I think it would be interesting to show off how I do X or Y. But how do I know what you're interested in seeing? Is there anything that I've done or that somebody else might have done that you look at and you think, how's that done? I want some insight into this, because I can't always tell what other people have difficulty with, what other people struggle with. If I can help you, that would mean a lot to me. So please do let me know if there's anything you want me to try doing. If there's any questions, anything you'd love to see explored and explained, please let me know. And honestly, I would be so happy to show off what I know about it, and hopefully to help you. So I've got a couple of little forelegs here. I'm sorry, this is such a rambly day. I've been listening to a few sentimental things lately, so I think I'm just in a sort of happy thank you sort of mode today. But that's good. Nobody wants to be that grouchy artist who never says anything, never says hello, never shares. Who wants to be that? There's no fun in that. So, round and round we go. The problem is, of course, when you start tearing it off for a little while, it gets a bit fluffy and airy, but sometimes that's exactly what you want. Okay, fluff around the corner there. We'll bend the leg into position later. Just want to get the base structure down. And again, like I said, some people just wrap it tight and find that's enough for them. I find it's easier when you've needle felted it. But it's absolutely one thing I did do for a while, and which might be useful to you, is sometimes if I found it wasn't working, I would get some thread, just kind of wrap it round, just kind of not sewing it on so much as just kind of wrapping it tight round there to keep it in shape. But when I discovered needle felting, I actually switched to this technique. But maybe wrapping it around with thread will work for you. Whatever works for you is the most important thing. But I just want to share and say this is how I do things. And if it helps you, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Like I've said before. I better hurry up and move on before everything gets ridiculous. So let's have a look. Again, all the way around. I should be doing this tighter, I really should, but it just doesn't seem to want to go. Again, I think it's just a bit too fluffy at this point. That's another thing, you can actually buy quilt batting in fairly narrow sheets, which are about as wide as the ones as the bits I tore off. So if that works, that might work better for you, I don't know. That's not actually something I've tried, maybe I should try it. I like the thicker stuff because when I continue to build up the body, I use chunks of it. We'll see that in a second, actually. Just a little bit more around the leg. It doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be tidy. Again, remember, this is all going to be on the inside, so nobody's going to see it. But obviously, just you do want the shape to be correct, but it doesn't matter if it's not perfect or if fluff gets in there. And believe me, that is quite hard for me to accept, especially when I'm when I'm making work to be sold, when I'm making work that somebody's been commissioning, I think, oh, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect. But you can't let something like that get in the way of what you're doing. Nearly done. Well, nearly done with this basic bit anyway. Ooh, I should have shifted a bit. So I've run out of that strip, but I'll tear off some more now. Just rip it off. Well, top layer always comes off quite nicely, so we don't really need a lot for the tail. I don't think so. Tear that in half. You can just tear it off with your hands. It's really forgiving stuff. And again, Sylveon doesn't really have that much of a tail. It's just kind of a very simple straight up, kind of like a cat or something. You notice I'm just kind of trying to bulk out the middle of the tail in particular, because it's got that kind of generic tail shape where it's a little bit thicker in the middle. Again, work with the official art, have a drawing or whatever you're making. It always helps to have a visual reference. One thing I do like to do, if I'm building dolls, is I actually draw the doll, sort of side view, side on, life size, and that's absolutely brilliant, especially with something. If I'm making something just out off the top of my head that doesn't have official artwork, that's brilliant. You can just kind of lay it on the drawing. You can't quite see here, and you can kind of see where you're going right, and where you might need to add stuff. Ooh. Again, by the way, I should probably mention this is Sylveon. We're just doing the basic shape today because I think I chose this because it's a fairly generic quadruped, really. So there's nothing particularly usual about it. Obviously, Sylveon does have the little ribbons, but those are going to be added in later. They're not going to be part of this tutorial. We just want to show off how we make a very basic, simple quadruped. Okay, so you've kind of got this sort of wrapped up sausage-looking animal now. Now, obviously, with a lot of animals, you generally have a little bit of bulk around the thighs, on the shoulders, but a bit more of a stomach. So, what I like to do here, just get a little bit more of this quilt batting. So here we go. I'm going to tear off a bit. Doesn't have to be neat. I always feel like I'm on Art Attack when I say, does anyone remember Art Attack? I think everyone outside, I think if you're in the UK you might do, and if you're outside the UK you're probably, what? Yeah, I always kind of feel like Neil Natter is like, it doesn't have to be neat, it's just a guide, and he's always saying stuff like that. But yeah, I think everyone outside the UK was just going, what? I don't know, maybe exported, I don't know. But yeah, that was, I absolutely loved that show when I was a kid. Because someone said, oh, you'll grow up and you'll be doing it. It's kind of, we didn't know YouTube was going to be a thing, did we? Nobody guessed. So, as you can see what I've done here, while I was just rambling on about Art Attack there, a little bit of nostalgia moment there, is I've just kind of taken a big chunk of quilt batting, fairly thick chunk, not the thin bits that we were wrapping it around with. This is why I like to use the thick version, and just kind of chucked it on there, and I'm trying to felt it down now. Be very, very careful with your fingers. I've stabbed them quite a few times doing this, I'm afraid. It's kind of one of the hazards of needle felting. It just happens sometimes. I'm not going to put a violence warning on this or anything, but yeah, if I kind of go, you know why. But yeah, anyway. So you can see there's a bit of padding there for the thigh. So we'll do that for the other thigh now. And again, oops. Can't just drop things on the floor. They never did that on Art Attack. Okay, so thick chunk of quilt batting. Tear some off. Turn that over. So on the other side now. And just kind of pop that over the thigh and felt downwards. And again, it doesn't have to be neat, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to bulk up the shape so it looks kind of more like a real thigh. Another thing I kind of want to mention when you're doing this is always take into account the fact that this is going to be covered in fur. So I'm not going to bulk this up to the full amount because the fur adds bulk. Very often fluffy animals look a lot chunkier than they are. Even animals that aren't especially fluffy look a lot chunkier. If you've got a dog and you've ever given it a bath, you'll notice how much skinnier they look. Same with cats, although you probably won't want to give those baths because you'll get your face clawed off. If you see the cat that's been trimmed down for whatever reason, if you've seen one of those kind of silly looking lion cuts, it always looks so bumpy in those. But yeah, you can see just how much bulk the fur adds. So just kind of try to imagine try to imagine that you're sculpting your creature as if it's just had a bath, and that will kind of get you somewhere. So I'm going to do the same for the shoulders. Get your needle. This is a coarse felting needle, by the way. They do come in particular grades. I'm not entirely sure what this one is. It was the coarser of the two that was at the local craft shop. But again, fine felting needles I generally use just for actual needle felting when you're doing details on the outside of a creature. For this, you want coarse. You want to jam the fibres in there with as much force as you can, really. Well, I mean, not too much force, but yeah, you want to jam them in and get them into position. You're not doing fine detail. Oops. Anyway, so you can see why I've got the foam pad there. It just gives the needle something to kind of sink into. Something that's not your thighs or something. Ooh. So, like I've said before, you can actually buy foam pads for needle felting, but what I just did was I just got a big roll of upholstery foam and cut some off. There's actually two little slabs there because it's fairly thin. And that way, once this wears out, because it does get a little bit worn out from all the stabbing. But once it gets worn out, you can replace it quite easily. Just cut off some more. So there we go. We've got a little bit more definition. I think we need a little bit more for the stomach as well. Just because this. Yeah. So again, tear off a little. You do stuff like this, just tear off a little bit. You kind of spread the. If you're working like this, spread the legs a little bit so it's easier to get to. Looks very unusual, but it does work out in the end. So add a little bit of a belly to it. There we go. Okay. So again, just got a generic carnivore quadruped, I would say, because if you're working with like a deer and a horse, they sometimes have. I always think they have more angular shapes. Because I was working with deer earlier, and they are very, very different. And sometimes it can trip you up if you're used to cats and dogs like I am. Sylvian, it's a cat, it's a dog, it's a bunny, it's a fox. But the body shape is very, very sort of generic carnivore. So it's a fairly easy shape to do, I would say, but I suppose that depends on what you're used to. I mean, if you're used to drawing horses, you might trip up on something like this. Drawing sculpting is the same thing. Okay. So I think we just need a bit more on the chest, I think. And again, it doesn't have to be neat, just chunks of it. Slap down. If you think it's too much, you can always snip it off with scissors. You can trim down. Very, very, very forgiving medium. It's kind of like it really is sculpting. It's the same with regular needle felting as well. You're sculpting with fibre. So I'm just going to do a chest piece there. Again, I don't want to overdo it. Just want to get the shape right because the fur will add bulk. And you don't want it to look unless you're going for a very round ball of fluff, don't overdo it. Like I say, just kind of imagine, for example, your pile adds you ate much to the shape, so imagine that. Imagine it's had a bath. That really is the best way to think of it. Okay. So I think we are getting somewhere now. I think we just let's have a look at my reference. See it off screen for a minute. Yeah, I think we need a little bit more around the thighs because there's quite a bit of thigh bulk on this Sylvian, I've noticed. So, little strip there. You just tear it into strips, and if we put it like that, yeah. We just want to kind of merge it into the body a bit more. There again. Like I said, this is why you have your this is why you want your reference image on you at all times. Oops, I'm just going to bend the legs a bit more. That's the pose they're going to be in. Because you kind of want to have that, again, you kind of have that thigh and then the shin, the hock down there. These are not knees. Anyone tells you that's its knee pointing backwards, no. Slap it in the face. So, for a quadruped leg, that's your knee there, where it bends back, just like your knee, and that is the ankle, just in case you didn't know. Okay, so we're just kind of laying down a bit there to blend into the body a bit more. Not too much, just enough. Again, just bend that backwards as you need. There's your hock. And there. We'll just tighten that bit round there because it's looking a bit loose. Yeah, just show it's all around. And I think that's starting to look really good. We're starting to get good. So I'll just have a look at it from above. So check it from above, see how the shape kind of flows into itself. I think we can call that done. Let's move the foam pad so you can see a bit better. I do apologise, this is all top down. So here we have Sylveon, or what will be Sylveon in the future. So we have a nice shape, nice sculpted shape, sculpted body. So again, thank you very much for watching. I really hope that was helpful. If it was, great. If it wasn't, if it doesn't work for you, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and I just want to share mine. So thank you very much. As I said earlier, if you have any ideas, anything that you want to know how I do, because what's not clear to you might not be obvious to me. I might think, well, I'll do a video on how to add the fur to the face, which is something I do want to do, but you might be thinking of something completely different I haven't even thought of that might be puzzling you. So please don't be shy. Do come out and say, I want to see this, if you want to see this, and I will do my very best to oblige. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I love sharing knowledge, and I don't mind putting my techniques out, because again, I can show you start to finish how I do something, and I guarantee you will create something different, something that is your own, not mine. And that happens even if you copy me step by step. What you make will be yours because you did it, and that's the most important thing. So I have absolutely no worries, no trade secrets here. We just want to show off how we do things. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to share more knowledge with you in the future. Thank you so much. Bye.